I compare comedy to MMA every fucking day.
How so?
My comedy changed since I became a fan of MMA because there's so many aspects that go into MMA, the same way of so many aspects that go into comedy. Let's take the elephant out of the room. I've always loved you.
Yeah.
I've always loved you. I've had a great respect for you. You get punched in the fucking head. Not a lot of people could get punched in the head. You decided one day you didn't want to do this. You didn't want to fight no more. You didn't see it anymore. You didn't have what you had when you first started. You know, sometimes people look behind the curtain or something and it changes.
Yep.
You know, I hate the business of stand-up. I fucking hate the business of stand-up. I hate the business of stand-up. But I love stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
So I'm caught in so I figured out how to avoid all those things that I don't like from stand-up comedy, the egos and stuff like that. You got out of it. You started a podcast. It became very successful. One day I'm going through fucking Facebook, and I see that fucking Brendan Schaub's doing stand-up at the store, and I go, no. I go, why is he doing this? I don't want him. You know, in my heart, I'm like, and I wasn't hating.
No, but yeah.
I just didn't know what you were going to go up there and talk about.
Protective, man, yeah.
I avoided you.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't say a fucking word. I don't want to be put in the position where Brendan comes up to me and asks me, what do I think? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's my brother. The other day, I fucking, you know, Ari's gone. So I called Eric and I go, Eric, do you mind if I host? Ari wrote me a letter. And he goes, I want you to watch. And you know, so the other night when I went to that storytelling show,
This Is What Happened.
This Is Not Happening,
Yeah.
I was sitting there as Joey Diaz, but in my mind, I was Ari. And I would go up to Ari afterward and go, what do you think of that story? And he'd go, he's talking about this. That's not a story. That's a bit, you know? And I compared.
You were a little cold to me even when I came in.
Oh, yeah. I
knew so. I text Rogan
like,
and Brian. I'm like, dude, did I do something to Joey before this? Like weeks before.
I go, God damn it. Listen, you're a fighter. You've had 30 fights, you said on stage the other night?
I've had a bunch, yes.
30 fights,
yeah.
okay.
Amateur, boxing.
What if tomorrow I got my blue belt and you were happy for me, and then 2 weeks later you saw a picture of me on Twitter at the boxing gym on Sunset with my fat little gut, and all of a sudden, a month later, you saw Joey go into a smoker.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Joey goes 5-0.
Yeah.
He armbars one guy, or Kimura's him with his weight. The other guy was a lucky punch. You know what, those smokers, not everybody's ready for MMA, and maybe I'm better. I go 5-0. One day I bump into you, and I got the balls to tell you, bro, I'm quitting stand-up. I talked to Dana. He's going to give me a fight against. You're going to look at me and go, Jesus, Joey, you're a good stand-up. Why are you doing this?
I get it, man.
So when all this is going down, I'm like, why is this happening? I like him on the podcast. I'm sitting there, and you went on stage, and more, every fucking 2 minutes, I fell in love with you more. I thought you were going to go up there and tell a story about UFC pussy and fucking protein stinky pussy or something. It was completely different. You told a fucking very touching story of your heart and what your goals were, and you had it set up. You had the tags at the perfect place. You talked about, you know, things that I've always laughed about, like, this is why I don't go to sport games, because you got to walk in with a jersey. What if that team loses? You got to take the train all the way home in New York with a Mets shirt on like a fucking asshole.
Yeah, people don't think about it.
Oh, I can't imagine being on the losing end of a fight and walking out holding your stuff. They never even show it. Only once, when Aldo lost. Dana White made sure that camera was on Aldo. They had him in the bathroom crying.
It's humiliating.
It's humiliating. It's fucking humiliating. You describe it, and you put me there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, oh, my God. You know, I could never fucking do this, what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And you went, and I left there that night blown away. Like, I went home and sat in the living room, and I said, talent is talent. I'm such an asshole for thinking that. I thought, I've had a lot of people who have just gotten into stand-up, and then after they've done it a year, they've actually come up to me and put their chest up to me. Like, said, like, bro, I'm going to Montreal, and it took me a year. And in my mind, I won't wish him no evil, but I'll go, this motherfucker has no idea. He has no idea. He's going to go up there and bomb when he sees the big lights. It's like fighting in smokers.
For sure.
And then I'm in Vegas, bitch. And even though I'm 5-0 and I got a great right hand, and I got a great jiu-jitsu game, my guard is tight. Let me tell you something. The lights, the people, that's a complete different ballgame. You know, I almost shit my pants at the Wilton Theater. I've been doing comedy 26 fucking years. I went out to the Wilton Theater. I looked up. I saw all those people. I had to stop for 2 seconds, bro. My legs went out from under me. You know what I'm saying? So when you did that the other night, I went home and I slept a couple hours. And when I woke you, I called you right in the morning.
Yeah, you did.
And I go, dog, what I saw last night blew me away. It gave me hope.
Yeah, man.
Because you told a story. You know, Ari has a big problem between a bit and a story. There's a big difference between a bit and a fucking story.
Big difference.
Big difference. And you saw it that night. A bit's great. You could do a bit and it's great. And it's probably true. What you're telling me, it's probably true. But it's not a story. There's connotations in your voice and different things in the story. And you have to take me. I have to see you.
Yeah, man.
You made me saw you on the floor. I almost fainted thinking about the booger and the red blood all on the floor while you were grobbering. Yeah. So you took me for a psychological journey, and that psychological journey was so good that it made me drive to Playa del Rey to see my brother and give him props.
You're
like
the best,
a motherfucker.
Man. You're the fucking
and
best.
I mean that from my heart. So I just wanted to draw the correlation for you. What if at 35 I get a blue belt and all of a sudden I'm walking around with tap-out gear and you're like, oh, he doesn't know.
No, and I get 100%, and I obviously have a thick skin to it, and I expect it, to be honest. Even, you know, with Rogan, you, Callan, D'Elia, everyone, I get it, man. I get it, and there's a, you know, I don't know what to say. I was talking last night with the owner of the Comedy Store. He goes, "Man, you sold out La Jolla already." I went, "Yeah, I have no business doing that. I'm glad I did. I have no business.
You're
doing
putting
that.
on a good product, but I got to go back to the story here. 7 years ago, Rogan taped a special somewhere, and Dana White was there. It was like on a Friday night before a UFC. And I was on stage trying to be cute. I wasn't really, in those days, I would just snort coke. And I would think about, what am I going to say tonight? Like, I didn't put no effort into it.
It was get up there and win.
It was a 50-50. I was just a funny guy that would take a 50-50 shot. But I was on stage doing my thing. And the only thing I could see from stage, which I never look at the audience, was I saw Brendan Schaub in like row 11. And I didn't know you then. I think you had just finished The Ultimate Fighter. You were about to fight, but you weren't fighting that weekend. Mm-hmm. And I looked at your face, and you had a face, you weren't laughing, and you weren't disgusted with me. You just had a different look on. And that night on the drive home, it came back to me what that look on your face was. You were figuring it out. And I went to watch you again when you were watching Rogan. You were enthralled with it. Mm-hmm. Something was captivating you. And that made me think back to that night, what you were watching that night. You were watching us going, wow, that's pretty fucked up what they do. The same way when I watch you get in the ring against somebody, I go, that's pretty fucked up what they do. These are both arts.
Yep.
I don't give a fuck what anybody tells you.
Yep.
MMA and stand-up are both fucking arts, man. I consider you an artist just like me. And MMA, when you fight 5 or 6 times and I see the breakdown and it's Brendan going, well, you know, I'm not worried about his jiu-jitsu game because my hand is right here. That guy's going to lose because he didn't evolve between training camps.
Yeah.
He didn't go to a Muay Thai place and go, let me just learn Muay Thai. You know, even if I just take a kick out and learn how to distance my head, I won't be getting clipped. These guys don't grow. Mm-hmm. So from watching MMA, I learned what I had to do to grow in between training camps. You always got to be learning. Doesn't mean you have to be writing. You have to be experiencing different things, I think.
Different perspectives.
Different perspectives. So even though you have a great jiu-jitsu teacher in the Gracie brothers, you know what? I'm going to go hang out with Cabrinha for 3 months.
Yeah.
He trains Verdum. He's got to be doing fucking something right, okay? Yeah. He trains Verdum.
Yeah.
He's got to be doing something fucking right, okay? Yeah. Well, that's where Verdum works out. I'm not saying that he trains there. Mm-hmm. You know, if you know, I got to go back to GSP. GSP grew every time I saw him in the ring. He refused not to grow. I'm not promoting the fight with him and Bisbee. I'm just making a statement.
You don't like the fight?
No, I like the fight. I don't know what he's going to look like after 2 years.
4 years.
4 years. That's a big growth spurt. But what I'm saying is GSP was one guy that I was not surprised I was a champion. GSP taught me how to be a really good comic because GSP kept fucking growing.
Yeah.
He would stay with the Arabian dude up there in Toronto, but he would go to Henzo's. You know, he would go to that black dude in the village and kickbox.
Yep,
he would go to some wrestling camp. He would go to gymnastics.
Yeah.
You'd see him on fucking rings. What does rings have to do with kicking somebody in the fucking head? What is it hanging from rings? He became champion.
Yeah,
he always was fresh. And this is what you got to do. You got to, you know, I go to acupuncture. I fucking, you know, I go to jiu-jitsu, but I do the mobility class, the tactical fitness. Do I look like a cop to you? Do I look like I'm going to fight to you? But you got to prepare to get old. So the tactical fitness works. You got to grow in between fights.
Do you hang out with a lot of other comics? You guys bounce ideas? I'm sure they're not really.
No. You know, we go through slumps. Creativity has slumps. That's why when your creativity fails, you have to go get entertained.
You got to mix it up.
Next time you can't write, Joey, I don't know what's going on. Shut the fuck up. Go smoke a joint. Creep into the comedy store. Don't let nobody see you. Don't even talk to nobody and sit in the back and watch 6 or 7 comics. Something that you wouldn't do. What would you do to get entertained? You put on Bellator on Friday. No. Yeah. No, that's not gonna.
That's not creative.
Step out. Take your wife to a play at that Gilmore fucking theater. Who gives a fuck? Yeah. Well, Joey, I don't like plays. That's not the point. Mm-hmm. The point is that you went and you experienced something else, and you're like, wow. From that experience, I could create from a different angle.
That makes sense.
It really does. And Paul Mooney told me that, one of the greatest writers of all time. He wrote for Richard Pryor. He wrote for Sanford and Son. I went up to him one day. I said, I'm in a slump. No worries.
Mix it up.
Mix it up. Go get entertained.